So to start this show off properly, first off, the elephant in the room. Let me say congratulations to the New York Knicks on winning the NBA championship. I mean, this probably means more as far as just like the history of just how infamous as far as in basketball circles, put it like that. The Knicks being like a historic franchise without being, without having they've been a historic franchise without having the success, I guess you would say, of like a big market team. Like if, and I've said this before, if I had to compare the drought, I guess you could say, to any team, as far as just straight up drought, historic team, no success really. If I had to compare it to any team, I probably compare it most to either in football, either the Dallas Cowboys or maybe the Chicago Bears. Also, they're kind of up there as far as the drought, as far as being successful. So I would say, yeah, I'll probably compare them more to the Chicago Bears, probably more than anything, because the Chicago Bears are a historic franchise as far as the fact that they've had a lot of great players. They've had, historic stadiums that they're about to move from, by the way. Anyway, they've had historic stadiums, historic players, legends as far as players, players who've made an impact as far as being legends in the game, I guess you would say. Um, they've had marginal success as far as recently, like in between the drought of them actually winning a championship. So that's what I would compare the New York Knicks to. The New York Knicks, they have two championships in their franchise, but they haven't won in an extremely long time. They haven't won in an extremely long time, as far as from when they actually have had a chance to hoist the trophy and actually celebrate, like and have the success, I guess you would say, of a historic franchise. My bad. They haven't had time to actually do that. So for them to actually achieve this, and you can say whatever you want about the Knicks. You can love them if you want to, hate them if you want. As you guys know, I'm not a Knicks fan per se. I'm not a Knicks fan. My team is actually rivals, I guess you would say, with the Knicks. I'm a Lakers fan, so we actually, got a little bit of heat with the Knicks. But I'm also not a hater. So whenever a team wins the championship, I give them props. I can't stand the Celtics. I really can't. I hate it. Listen, I hate the Celtics and being a Lakers fan, but when they won a championship a couple years ago, I gave them their props. You gotta kind of give them their props when something like that is due. You gotta give them their props. It's just what it is. So as much as you may not like the Knicks, or the Knicks might not be your cup of tea, you got to give them their props, man. And I have to say this as far as just calling it what it is. The Knicks played freaking out of their mind this entire playoffs. Like, this is one of the best teams, and I was talking about this with my brother. This might be one of the best teams, and I don't think it's an argument personally. This is one of the best teams that we've seen in the playoffs, and just as far as a season, in a very long time. This is one of the best teams that's ever graced the NBA playoffs and the NBA finals, because their dominance. They only lost 3 games this entire playoff run. 3 games, and the first 2 games came in the first round. Other than that, they've only lost 1 game in the NBA Finals if you take away the first round. But obviously, you can't do that because that's part of the playoffs. But the entire playoff run, they've lost a total of 3 games. 3, and that came all the way back in the first round. Ever since then, it's been all dubs until the finals, where they lost game 3. But other than that, it's been all dubs. They've been what the song say, they've been winning no matter what, straight up. So this is one of the most dominant teams we've ever seen grace the NBA playoffs, grace an NBA season, grace an NBA finals, and I think they just honestly they deserved it. They deserved it. I mean, from talking about the finals, I mean, we can go from game one of the finals. From game one, it just they had that energy, man. Like you gotta, if you want to win an NBA championship, it's just kind of one of those things that I always talk about with like energy. It's like winning a Super Bowl. Winning a Super Bowl is the same exact thing. If you when you win a Super Bowl or any sport where you have that chance and you get the opportunity, boxing, you get a main event title shot for the first time, or in whatever sport it is, whenever you get to the pinnacle of that sport, it's all about, in my opinion, how you carry yourself and are you ready for the moment. From game freaking one, the Knicks were ready for this moment. Straight up, like they, the Knicks, no part of them said that they were gonna back down. No part of them. I mean, from how the team communicated on the bench, to how Mike Brown was coaching the team, to Mike Brown's composure, to the star player Jalen Brunson, to Jalen Brunson's composure, to the supporting cast, composure, as far as composure under pressure, the contributing to the star players, the people knowing their roles, how to, when to shoot, when to pass, all these different things and energy that you have to win a championship. The Knicks had it from game one, and it wasn't even a question. And to the Spurs point, or to the Spurs defense, I guess you would say, the Spurs didn't seem, for lack of a better way to put it, they didn't seem, I guess you would say, illegitimate. They didn't seem illegitimate. They seemed like they deserve to be in the finals, especially when you look at their path towards getting to the finals. They beat the NBA champions from last year. So them going through that path and them doing something that really, honestly, nobody expected them to do, as far as beating SGA and, the Thunder. Nobody really expected them to do that, especially how they did it, because the Thunder pretty much had the series all but sealed up, because the Thunder had a 3-2 lead. All they had to do was close out game 6 and it was over. But they managed to, the Spurs just straight up took game 6, and then, the rest was history. So I feel like the Spurs didn't not deserve to be in the finals. They deserve to be there. It's just the Knicks were just better, man. They're just better. They were just better all around. All around. It was, and once again, I talked about this with my family. The Spurs, as far as, like I said, I know the Spurs have a lot of talented players. I know that. I'm not taking anything away from the Spurs as far as that. But just from what we've seen in the NBA Finals, okay, the Spurs played more. I'm just being honest. The Spurs played more like they had a good player. All right, stay with me now. Shout out to my boy Chad Johnson. Okay, the Spurs played like they had a good player. The Knicks played like they had a good team. That's why I feel like they just end up winning, because the Spurs, and I hate to keep, I know I sound like a broken record player because I keep beating this drum, pause. But all that, what I kept saying, all that hesitating in the clutch, like looking for Wemby and like kind of seeming to get nervous down the, like in the clutch, like because Wemby isn't in position to make certain plays, so you're kind of hesitating and not taking shots and stuff like that. All that kind of stuff. The Knicks weren't doing that. The Spurs were getting nervous and hesitating when it was time. And it's no flack on them. I get it. It's the NBA Finals. Anyone would be nervous going to the NBA Finals. In any big main event moment, when you finally are able to get to the pinnacle of that moment, normally anyone is nervous. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just calling a spade a spade. It seemed like they were nervous in clutch moments. When it was time to make clutch things happen that didn't involve Wemby, when it was time for players to be confident in themselves other than Wemby, when it was time for them to be confident in themselves on the Spurs team, it didn't seem like they were confident enough to make certain things happen. But the Knicks, on the other hand, their role players and their supporting cast did seem confident in themselves to make things happen. I mean, just doing certain things that just how they carried themselves in clutch moments. The Spurs in clutch moments, they run, they start hesitating. They start looking for Wemby every possession. If Wemby isn't in the paint, then they don't shoot the shot. Or shots they would take early in the game, they stop taking. Or instead of driving to the rim, they just kind of dribble it out and wait for Wemby to get to the paint. That kind of stuff reads as you're nervous to make a mistake. Like, you don't want to make a mistake, so you're just gonna wait till the star player, Wemby, is there so you can give him the basketball and kind of give him the pressure of, hey, whatever happens, it's on you, Wemby. You want to pass the pressure off. That's what it reads. It reads as being nervous. I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying it reads as being nervous. The Knicks, on the other hand, did not do that. The Knicks supporting cast, from their key players to obviously the star player and Jalen Brunson, everybody seemed confident in themselves. Everyone seemed confident in themselves. Everyone, like, it was no lack of okay, we know what we can do. It was no lack. I never felt any lack. Pause. I never felt any lack from that. Like, they always had that confidence inside of them. Like, it just was there. It just was their mentality. I mean, from game one, even when and especially it's funny because every game was kind of like this, especially the 29-point comeback. Even from the first game, the Knicks being down in the game and them coming back and being able to win game one, even them being down in game one and them managing to make a comeback and actually make something happen. Even that, how they didn't get nervous, how they didn't panic, how they didn't, whenever they were down in the game, how they didn't give up, how their energy never faltered, how they never seemed, to be honest, they never seemed panicked or worried they were going to lose. Just those things, man, just make the so much difference as far as a championship team and not a championship team. And it's nothing wrong with not being a championship team. It's just the Spurs weren't ready yet. That's all it was. They weren't ready yet. They went against a better team, all-around team. They went against a more confident team, in my opinion. And they went against a team that was just built for it. They were far more built for it than the Spurs were, in my opinion. Now, as far as the talent-wise, like I said, I like the Spurs and the Knicks talent-wise. I think they have some very talented players. I mean, we can go down the roster of both teams, and I love the talent on both teams, honestly. And I think the Spurs have a lot to look forward to as far as the future and what their future holds. I think the Spurs are going to be here to stay for a while. As long as Wemby is rocking a Spurs jersey, I think they will be competitive. And I think this year put the NBA on notice as far as just the fact that they're going to be competitive no matter what. And it's just because Wemby is there. He is that freaking good, bro. Like I said, you might not like Wemby, hate him if you want to, love him if you want. But he is going to be a face of the NBA. Like I said, the two faces, in my personal opinion, are going to be SGA and Wemby. It's going to be, in my opinion, like a miniature version, I guess you would say, of like LeBron and Steph. That's what I feel like it's going to be, me personally. But I just think Wemby got them as far as he could. And I mean that. Wemby got them as far as he could. He got them to the NBA Finals. And they could have won. But the Knicks were just better. And that's not to say Wemby didn't make his mistakes, because he did. Wemby had his faults. But in the NBA, in any sport, in any profession, you're going to have your faults. You're going to have your mistakes. If anyone says you don't, then, well, you pretty much know what they're full of. But you're going to have your faults. You're going to have your mistakes. You're going to have your times where you mess up. You're going to have your times where you don't play perfect. That's going to happen. But the Spurs and Wemby, as far as in general, as a whole, had a great season. Wemby showed the Spurs everything they needed to see this year as far as knowing that he's the guy if they didn't know that already. He got you to the freaking NBA Finals, something that you haven't done since 2014, and had you in every single game with the NBA champions. And even managed to get a game off of the NBA champions. So, it's just what it is. And managed to beat the reigning NBA champions. So, the Spurs, shout out to you guys, had a great season. So much to look forward to as far as the Spurs. But as far as the Knicks and winning this NBA championship, this means so much to you. So much. It's from the outside looking in as far as to all Knicks supporters, to the people that were down from day one. I mean, I gotta say it. Shout out to my boy Spike Lee. If you didn't know, Spike Lee has been rocking with the Knicks. I'm talking about good, bad, ugly, terrible, awful, great, wonderful. They're through it all. And to all the Knicks supporters who have also been that way, shout out to you guys. Shout out to everyone who's just rocking with the Knicks. I know it's a great time for you guys. This is the ultimate payoff. There's nothing like winning the NBA championship. Me being a Lakers fan myself, I can tell you that. There's nothing like winning the NBA championship or a championship in general. It's nothing like that feeling of knowing all that patience, all that work, all the games, all the times where you doubted, all the times where it didn't feel like it was going to work, all the times where, as a fan, you probably felt like, I don't know if this team is good enough, or early in the season and certain decisions you probably thought were questionable, and you questioned it. All of those things that happened to ultimately lead it to it being what you wanted as an NBA championship. It's nothing like that payoff in the end. It's nothing like that payoff. And to piggyback off of that, to talk about freaking Jalen Brunson, bro. I said this, I believe, it was a couple videos ago. I don't know which one it was, but in the video we were talking about Jalen Brunson. I believe it might have been before the series even started. But the video we were talking about Jalen Brunson and that just the doubt that he faces, in my personal opinion, that's dead now. That's dead. If you had anything to say about Jalen Brunson, that's dead now. You can, but you can say whatever you want about anybody, but you can't say anything about Jalen Brunson as far as him not being able to come through and people actually take you seriously. Cause bro, 45 points in the clincher. That's 45 points to close out the finals. Then throughout the finals, check this out. JB averaged 32 points, 32.6 points, 4.6 assists, and 4.2 rebounds in 5 games of the NBA Finals. And once again, closed it out with a 45-point game in the clincher, a 45-piece. And by the way, in every single moment that the Knicks needed him to show up in the clutch. Now, once again, did he have his faults? Of course. Did he have his mistakes? Of course. But in every single moment where the Knicks absolutely needed him to win the game and come up clutch, he did. He did. Every time. He did. So you can say whatever you want about, Jalen Brunson. You can say whatever you want about anybody. I always use this example. You can go and tell the best boxer in the world, hey, straight up, you, as far as the greatest boxers of all time, you ain't up there. You can say that all day long, but if he's still undefeated and got all the belts in the world, you look kind of crazy saying it, but you can say whatever you want. You look crazy saying it as he has all the belts in the world, but, you can say whatever you like. No, you can go up to LeBron and straight up be like, hey, Bron, as far as your career, man, you turned out to be a bust. You look like a complete idiot saying that, but hey, you can say whatever you would like. You go up to Tom Brady and be like, hey, you didn't win it. You didn't do enough in your career. Once again, you look like an idiot saying it, but hey, you can say whatever you would like. Everyone has an opinion. So you can say, hey, Jalen Brunson, in my opinion, still ain't good enough. That's cool. In my opinion, he is. He's well good enough, okay? Well good enough to not only get the job done, but he showed everybody that not only can he get the job done, not only is he good enough, not only is he a good enough star player, no, he is a bona fide, certified star player that can lead you to the promised land as far as winning a championship. All you have to do is get him a quality supporting cast. That's what the Knicks did, and look at the payoff. So shout out to freaking Jalen Brunson for winning Finals MVP. Shout out to Cat for showing up in this Finals, because I know Cat has had a lot of criticism over the course of his career as far as not playing how he would probably wanted to, as far as being as dominant and showing up in clutch moments. So shout out to Cat for that. Actually showing up in this Finals and being that other force that the Knicks could rely on. So shout out to Cat for that. Also, huge shout out. I gotta do a huge freaking shout out to OG Anunoby, man. Oh my God. Shout out to OG Anunoby this Finals. If, once again, you can say whatever you would like to about OG Anunoby. One thing you can still say it if you want to, but one thing I will never say from this point on is OG Anunoby, if you ever get him in a situation where he needs to perform, oh, he gonna come through. He gonna come through. OG Anunoby got to the Finals, and it's like, he's a great player regardless. I'm just saying, as far as the Finals are concerned, it seemed like he got to the Finals, as soon as whenever it would click in his mind that, oh, we're in the Finals, we can win a championship, it's like he just turned it up like 10 notches. Like, it's crazy. Not only did he have the the game winner pretty much in game 4. Not only did he do that, but that's also on there. Saved the game in game 4, but also in every other game played crazy enough, I might say it, but it's necessary. Played, might I say, 3rd star level in the Finals. And in some games, I just got to be honest. In game 3, just pointed out, in game 3 and in game 4, arguably, 2nd star level. Like OG Anunoby was freaking phenomenal in this final series. The Knicks just whole team, like OG Anunoby, his mentality, like just going up, like I said, 10 notches and just playing out of his mind in the Finals. Cat coming through like the Knicks needed him to in the Finals. Jalen Brunson not taking this opportunity for granted at all. Captain clutch every single time the Knicks needed it. The Knicks role players not being scared to shoot, not hesitating. Whenever they needed to come through, they mostly did. Stuff like that. The Knicks just freaking they just earned it more. It's a cliche, but it has to be said. The Knicks just wanted it more. They just did. And that's no flack on the Spurs, because I'm sure they wanted an NBA championship. Don't get me wrong on that, okay? But I'm just saying, as far as overall come down to the nitty-gritty part of things, the Knicks just seemed to want it more. So that's all it was. So just a great freaking final showing from the Knicks. Great final showing from Jalen Brunson. All the Knicks supporting cast, everyone on the Knicks, y'all deserve this celebration. I think the Knicks celebration will be on Thursday, so that'll be very interesting to see. To everyone who's going to the parade, make sure you guys be safe out there. I know it's gonna be crazy, so make sure you be safe out there. The Knicks, enjoy the celebration, enjoy this off season, and just really take some time to just savor this celebration, savor this moment, because y'all know when the season gets started again, hey, look, congratulations on the championship, but it's right back to work, you know. So take time to actually savor this, enjoy this, and just really embrace this moment and savor this moment. And then, you know, obviously it's back to work. You know, it's back to work in a couple months. So enjoy it. All my Knicks fans out there, like I said, enjoy it. Be safe at the parade. Be safe celebrating. If you're going to drink responsibly. You're going to smoke responsibly. And just congratulations to to the Knicks and the Knicks supporters, man. Because once again, man, y'all deserve it. Y'all deserve it. Y'all have waited a long time for this, and y'all absolutely deserved it. So congratulations to the Knicks, man.